here are my adapted instructions for that written assignment for urban texture portrait or portrait text or something like that. Anyway, I have an 8.5 by 11 document here, and I've colored it black, and I just did it the way I have done it before. Used the paint bucket, colored it black. At the top, you'll see I have a few things open. I have a skyline, well, a cityscape, some scrap metal, McGregor. We're going to make McGregor into this picture. Why? Because I have this great picture of her. She's beautiful. It's great. Bricks, and then, well, the welcome JPEG, which is actually the welcome to Nelson sign. I thought we'd give it a little local flair. So what we're going to do is I've taken the picture of McGregor, and I have cut her out of the background, and we're going to take her in, transfer her into my document that I have here. So you can see my magic wand tool didn't get everything out of it, so I'm just going to erase these. Oh, let's get a solid brush. That's helpful, Jones. Let's erase these extra lines. I don't really need them. And that'll get rid of... Alright, we're ready to go. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to move McGregor close to the edge, just because I'm trying to do rule of thirds. For any of you, hold down shift when you drag the corner. For any of you that have taken photography or know anything about design, rule of thirds is that you cut the thing you're working on into thirds. So like if I was going to cut it with the ruler, what are we at here? So we'll cut it into like thirds like this. Okay, see how the majority of her is on the sort of you want it to 1/3 of the picture. You don't necessarily want it in the middle because it's not as interesting. Just a design thing, no big deal. Do it how you like. It's up to you. Again, creative control. Okay, I'm gonna get rid of these guidelines so they don't drive us crazy. So I have McGregor in there, and now if you went through the written assignment, I'm working on the website. If you went through the written assignment, actually let's go here, you would see the very first step that they have is to use this blur effect to smooth out the skin. Now, it's really great for McGregor because she was wearing good makeup and she doesn't really need smoothing, but I'll show you what to do anyway just in case. So we'll go filter, okay, and I have McGregor's layer selected, and I want to go... where are we here? Blur, and you want to do surface blur, and then you can set it so that, oh, there's McGregor's eye, cheek, so that it blurs. See how it just blurs out the skin a little bit? It just softens it. If you crank this up too high, you get this really crazy, weird, blurry picture, but 10 radius, 10 threshold, all it'll do is smooth out her skin. Now, she looks like she's had professional makeup done anyway, so we're all good. Okay, so we've blurred out the skin, we've given a little surface blur, a little applique of you did fantastic makeup. All right, and then if you go back to the instructions, because I just want to show you where I start to differ and where it's the same. So here they use a clipping mask and they do it red, and then if you go down it ends up being black. Okay, I skip this step simply because I'm a really visual person, and when I put the red clipping mask in, if it isn't already black, then I can't actually see what it's going to look like, and it just messes with my head. So rather than do that, I add another layer, okay, and I'm going to rename this the black top layer, not black top like, you know, that you drive your car on, but black top. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the brush tool, and I'm going to choose one of those drippy brushes from the brushes that you downloaded off the website. So you need this brush kit because it has this cool brush in it. Do you see how it looks like dripping paint? It's kind of nice, actually. So now here's where you play, okay? So yours isn't going to have to look exactly like mine, and I would recommend that it doesn't, actually. I like getting different stuff. I've told you that before. But what I do is I put... See, that looks really funny. Jones, what are you doing? Too big. Okay. Turn the brush down. Oh, too small. have done this before. It looks like I haven't, but I totally just did. Okay. And I'm going to put some drippy bits over this picture. I am going to go back in here with a different brush, so it's not just going to look like stamps, because that's ridiculous. All right. Now, oh, yes. Okay, before I get too far into this and cover it up, I want to show you a trick. Remember how we did the Recolor Tool? So I'm going to go to McGregor's face, and I'm going to choose behind the brush is the Recolor Tool. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually make her lipstick a lot brighter, just so that when we turn this photo into black and white and erase, it like really pops. So the Recolor Tool will keep all the textures of her lip and all of the shine and shadow that was available in the picture, which is really helpful. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom in on her mouth. Ooh, McGregor's mouth up and close. Okay, and then I'm going to use the quick selection tool, okay, not the magic wand, and I'm just going to roughly outline her lips, okay, so that they're selected. Okay, selected lips, we're good to go. Now, what I do to get the color so that it doesn't look so ridiculous, she doesn't end up looking like a clown, is I take the eyedropper tool, and I actually click on her lips so that it changes the foreground color to her lips. Now, what this allows me to do is see where these arrows are? That's the color it's selecting. So what I do is I go right straight across into the reds, and I choose a color that's in the same tone range. And this makes it so that it doesn't look completely ridiculous when you add it. So then I use the Recolor tool, and I'm just going to recolor her lips. Now be careful not to recolor her teeth, because you really don't want pink teeth. It's not really flattering. If you want to get really technical, you could make the teeth whiter with the Recolor tool by choosing white and then going over them, but... Okay, see, so I'm going over the shadow. It's keeping the shine from the reflection. That was actually a sunny day, it looks like. And it's keeping all the shadow. And I'm just going to recolor her lips so that they are a brighter pink, so that when I make this picture black and white and I erase her lips, they're going to pop, really pop. Okay? Now, the other thing about McGregor is that she has great blue eyes. So what we could do is we could do the same thing with her eyes. So I'm going to go up here and see, you can't really tell, but McGregor has amazingly colored eyes. So what we're going to do is let's see if I can get it with the, oops, wrong one, with the magic wand tool, and see if we can get the blue in her eyes. That should actually be okay for recoloring. Now, you just have to be careful that you're not going to color inside whatever else is selected. If you just want the eye, just do the eye. So now, then I'm going to take the eyedropper. We're going to get into the color of her eyes. And I'm actually going to go over here in the blues. I actually think I'm going to make her eye a little bit lighter. I don't know. Somebody go into chemistry and look at McGregor's eyes and see if I'm close. Okay, and then I'm going to recolor them. Oh, wrong thing. Try again. Okay, so let's go up here somewhere. That's the history brush, Jones. You're reusing the history brush. Alright. Oh, she's going to have super turquoise eyes. This might look really awesome, or it might look really horrible. We're going to find out. Okay, you missed my coughing fit. I turned the video back on. I tried to keep recording. I finished the entire thing, and no more video. So let's try this again. Alright. So we have deleted the black and white out of here to get her eyes and her lips colored. Now, we're going to start layering in some of the urban aspects of this portrait. So if you go back to the written instructions, you'll see that they cut out a piece of a cityscape or some city scene was mostly with bricks here, and then they overlay it. So rather than grab a brick thing, I just actually downloaded a brick wall, and I put it on the website. You're welcome to use it. And so what I'm going to do is drag this into here and adjust the size of it so that it fits. I'm going to do maybe like that much of her face, and I'm going to make it go the entire distance, okay? So once you have it overlaid like this, okay, I'm going to label this bricks. And then what I'm going to do first is reduce the opacity so that it's just visible as bricks. Perfect. And then I'm going to get rid of show transform controls because that always messes with me. And then what I'm going to do is I use that grunge brush again. And I'm actually going to make this a little smaller. I'm going to take out this major line, okay? So I have this set at 100, 100, so 100 opacity, 100 flow, just to get rid of this line bit so that there's not like this crazy line in the middle of her face or in the middle of the picture. And if you want to take out bits and pieces along the brick as you go, totally welcome to. Artistic endeavor, decide what you would like to do. Now, in the written instructions, it tells you to make this a black and white layer. I don't. I actually kind of like the color, so do what you want. All right, so now I have the bricks. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to add the Welcome to Nelson sign. Because if you look in the instructions, they use this hardware paints thing. I thought, why not make it local? So I downloaded a picture, clearly already been photoshopped because it has the Welcome to Nelson sign and Canada and the thing over top of it, but that's okay. We're just going to use the Welcome to Nelson sign. So I used this rectangular select tool, and I unlocked the background layer, and I just grabbed the Nelson sign. Of course, I already had this done because I've done this like 3 or 4 times already. But put it on the picture, and then I'm going to make it slightly larger so that you're going to be able to see it. Something like that. Okay. Press the check mark, and then I'm going to delete part of the background, just because that's what I feel like doing. So I'm going to take out parts by deleting it. Remember, Control D is deselect. So I'm just going to go through and maybe not that big a piece. Delete out parts of the background. Something like that. Okay, it doesn't have to be perfect. Now, I'm actually going to make this a clipping mask, which it does do in the instructions, and you've probably not done, but if you right-click and create a clipping mask, it clips it out of the picture the way it is, okay? And you can see the city of Nelson in the background, which is totally great for me. That's what I wanted. Looks good. Leaving it alone, not touching it. Okay, next thing is we're going to put some of that scrap metal on top, okay? And the scrap metal, this part you have to play around with, and I'm going to do it really fast, and mine's going to look really, really horrible. But I'm just going to show you how to do it because I don't want you to watch this giantly long video with Jones talking about nothing. All right, so grab the scrap, the entire photo, okay? Put it in. Now, it automatically made it a clipping layer because the other layer was a clipping layer. Right-click, release the clipping layer so you can see what you're doing, okay? Now, here's where we get to do a little playing with scrap. So, you've seen me resize with the show transform tools a lot, but I don't think I've ever used this with you. So, this is the warping tool. So, what this allows you to do is pull the picture in odd directions, okay? So, I want you to play with this, and I want you to warp the scrap metal into a shape that you think fits your picture. I'm going to warp mine a bit like this, and then I'm going to move it down so that it's curved over her face, like that. Now, if I just left it like this, it would look ridiculous. So, I am going to, you could move it below the black and white layer like that, or add another adjustment layer. Up to you, don't care. Change the opacity, okay? And I actually think that I want this to extend all the way to the top, so I'm going to make it extend all the way to the top, okay? Play around, figure out what you want. Again, I said I'm not going to play with this too much because that's boring watching me do it. Do it yourself. Okay, so now I have the scrap warped over her face, or warped in the picture somehow. Now, another cool thing to do is to go back to the scrap layer, and remember we made her eyes all blue? Or even if we didn't make her eyes blue, it's good contrast. There's a lot of blue scrap in here. I am going to take this piece of this picture, I'm going to put it back in here. Now, I don't want it black and white. I actually want to see it, so I'm going to move it to the top, like that. And I'm going to adjust it over top of the picture. So I'm going to have scrap over scrap, which is totally fine. Okay. Again, I'm not going to leave it like this because it looks ridiculous. I'm going to turn the opacity down like this. Okay, and then I'm going to go back in with my eraser grunge brush, and I'm going to take out the major line that's in here, because that doesn't fit with our theme now, does it? Okay, so I'm just going to, but I'm going to keep the blue in because I like the color. So play around with this until you get the overlay the way you want. You can overlay as many pieces of scrap, as many pieces of scrap as you would like. Go for it. Play. Okay, I kind of like the bicycle. I'm going to put the bicycle in. But hopefully you get the picture. We're just play with it. Figure out what you want it to look like and play around with the tools until you get what you want. I will never fault you for asking questions. I will never fault you for trying things. So play around. It's the best way to learn stuff. Watching videos for me is helpful, but the best way to learn is to try it. So now you can see I have some black and white scrap, and I have some color scrap, and they overlap, and there's some color in the picture, and there's some black and white in the picture, and the color over here plays off the color over here, and if you were in my photography thing, we could talk about balance. So there you go. That's the project. I hope yours looks better than mine, because I did mine really quickly. I hope this is a whole lot easier than those written instructions, and if it isn't, Facebook me again and tell me. Thanks.